The second part of Season 1 is here with probably one of the most awesome maps that Battlefield 6 has seen so far. This video is created with the kind support of the EA Creator Network. Shoutouts to them. Yeah, immediately letting the cat out of the bag. I think that Eastwood is one of, if not the best map that exists in Battlefield 6 so far. And right at the beginning, I want you to write in the comments how you find this map, because I'm genuinely curious about your opinion, because I just find it wonderfully beautiful and also really, really good. I definitely had my fun on this map. Before we go into more details, there are also new weapons in this season, namely a shotgun. The DB12 doesn't interest me that much, to be honest, but there's a cool new revolver. That was really fun, but more on that later. Furthermore, the update brought countless improvements, patches, and also battle pickups. We will also check out these legendary devices in this video. And also there's news for everyone who might not have bought Battlefield 6 yet, meaning the full version. I don't even know if that's widely known. I don't think they communicated it that heavily. More on that later too. All of that in this video. But first, if you decide to buy Battlefield 6, or if you have already bought it and want to buy points like the Battlefield coins or skins or whatever, don't forget to use my creator code. It's Luke001. You can always do this in the EA app or at EA.com. When you complete your purchase, there's a small promo code field. Gives me a little kickback. You don't pay more, so that would be awesome. Thank you in advance for doing that. Also, you can immediately drop a sub and leave a like if you enjoy the video. Of course, do that later. Now let's dive into California Resistance. Type 1 in the comments if you like it very, very much. Type 2 if you don't like it that much. Back to the map Eastwood. I already played it in a small capture session beforehand, but only a few rounds, and now we could really get into it with the full release of the map in part 2 of Season 1. So first of all, I don't think there has been a prettier map. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I really find it beautiful. Did I mention that I find it beautiful? No? So graphically alone, I think it's an absolute eye candy. Then all of that coupled with the destruction of Battlefield 6 in that housing part of the map where the pools are and the little squeaky ducky in the pool that also breaks. Mind you, when things really go off there with tanks and rocket launchers and so on, virtually no stone is left unturned. So for all the people who always say, we need destruction in Battlefield, well, how much more can you possibly get? You still need a little cover in the end. As I said, what is graphically torn down there is simply amazing. But in addition to that, I also think the layout is pretty good. I'm a fan of such maps, I have to say. It reminds me a bit of Provence somehow, or Arras of Battlefield 5. So there's always a central point where there is close combat and stuff, and around it is a bit of different gunfire. It could be a bit more belly-shaped, I guess. That's the only point of criticism I would have. A bit belly-shaped is still a bit too tube-like, right? Then I would be completely satisfied, but I still think it's super awesome. We have this central point, which is the golf club house, where the infantry action is simply crazy, and it's just chaos the whole time. Fitting for the golf course, there are also golf carts where you can put C4 on and then blow up people and tanks with it. So the C4 cart is born in Battlefield 6, so to speak. I give this map an A star. I genuinely find it really cool and I had super fun. A small downside is that it's not particularly well suited for helicopters. You have to be that honest. That's just how it is. But otherwise, it's a really cool alt warfare map. You can drive through houses with tanks and anything you want, or into pools. Super. Then there are the new weapons. First, I'll talk about the new revolver. It has a really high fire rate for a revolver. It doesn't do as much damage as the M44, but I actually prefer it a bit over the M44. I unlocked it. I think you have to get 5 headshots and shoot 30 people with sidearms to get it. That's definitely doable. It went relatively quickly and then I had a lot of fun with the thing. I think it will be my new go-to secondary weapon. Regarding the shotgun, I'm just not such a shotgun person. So it's the good old doof doof, right? You know, the DB12, you go doof doof and then you have to reload and then you can doof doof again. The range isn't as extreme as on other shotguns, I have the feeling, but you can also shoot twice before reloading. You can shred people quite well with it. It's a shotgun. So for a shotgun, it surprisingly functions like a shotgun. That was my brilliant contribution to the shotgun. Not to forget, there are, of course, the battle pickups. These are also new additions to the season as a permanent addition. These are special weapons that you can find on the battlefield. There were things like this in Battlefield 4, for example, or I'm reminded of the Elite classes in Battlefield 1. Those were complete kits you put on, of course, but here we can now pick up weapons that have limited ammunition, which is very important and which is also not replenishable. I tested that. That means you can only use them once. Just go completely nuts with them and then you have to settle for your normal weapons again. We have a minigun which shoots fast and a lot, so you can shred a lot of infantry with it. And then we have the Roche. People who played Battlefield 2042 know the name Roche. What's slightly different here is that it's more of a bazooka-like railgun. It's not completely hit scan, even though it's a railgun, but the projectile is very fast. You have to charge the thing. It one-shots infantry. I also shot at helicopters. It does about 350 damage. That's fair, I think. Here too, the ammo cannot be replenished, as I said, and I find the sound of the thing and the reload animation simply awesome. It's definitely fun to go a bit crazy with it on the map. It's a nice little addition. I don't think it will change anything major because the ammo is, as I said, relatively limited, and I somehow had more fun with the Roche, I have to say. Next, there is another addition to the Gauntlet mode. That is the second mode of Red Sack, so to speak. So we have the Battle Royale ones and then the Gauntlet mode, which, by the way, is super suitable if you don't have the game yet. But you can level up your weapons for the Battle Royale. It's round-based. You always have to complete an objective. I think you know how Gauntlet works by now. Then teams are always sorted out, so you play in teams of 4, and in the end, some team remains. It's actually a really cool mode. It's genuinely fun when you go in with pre-mates. You have to say that. Randoms are a whole other story in such modes, right? So you have to pull together, so to speak. It works better, of course, if you are together in Discord, etc. So the new mode within this Gauntlet mode is called Rodeo. That's basically a tank battle, more or less. So you have a lot of these containers. You know them from Battle Royale, where you need the card. You don't need that in this mode. You can just open them. They also open faster than in Battle Royale. And then you have a tank. You can get as many of them as you can. And then it's basically a tank battle. A very fun mode, I have to say. Definitely pack your engineer or several, preferably. Speaking of engineers, there was a perk or a field spec, better said, called anti-armor. With that, you now have 5 rockets right from the start when you spawn as an engineer. That should have always been the case, but now it is. That's strong, and tanks will have to bite the dust. That's just how it is. Then we come to Sabotage. That is this time-limited mode. It works like this: 2 teams of 4, and the attacking team has to destroy the crates of the defending team. So they are seriously cargo crates that you have to destroy. And then when the time is up, or all the crates have been destroyed, the side switches and the whole thing continues the other way around. Whoever destroyed the most crates or was faster in the end wins the round. It's a time-limited mode. It's not for me, I have to say. I find it somehow doesn't fit Battlefield for my taste, but feel free to try it out. Maybe you like it, you never know. You must absolutely try everything. Go on, try it now. Yeah, then there were countless fixes and so on in the update. All sorts of things were cleaned up, resolved and repaired. You can, of course, read all that in the patch notes, what was fixed and so on. That is definitely too much for now. It's too long of a list to go into everything. For example, they revised the bloom and recoil of the weapons so that it now feels a bit better at distances, etc., etc. Then one more thing, which I already teased at the beginning. For all those who don't actually own Battlefield 6 yet, but maybe want to get a taste of it, also in the multiplayer and not just in the Battle Royale, because that is still free to play, of course. You can test and play Battlefield 6 completely free of charge for a week from November 25th to December 2nd. The multiplayer, as I said, and just jump in. The entire game is not unlocked, to be fair. We want to be transparent, but you can test and play 3 maps and 5 modes completely for free to get a taste of it. And then you'll definitely like Battlefield 6 so much that you'll absolutely use my promo code Luke001 while you buy the game. I'm sure it still has its weaknesses here and there. You won't be able to talk those away. I'm looking towards the netcode, for example. The helis and the tanks should also be a bit stronger, in my opinion. A slightly larger map should also be added. I think Eastwood is a really cool map and already has the right size for my taste, but I know that there are many Battlefield fans who would like to see larger, more open maps. I've always been a fan of those Battlefield 5 style maps, rather a bit smaller. I personally like that, and I think with this season they have absolutely come a step closer to a perfect Battlefield, in my opinion. Eastwood is mega awesome. If you haven't played it yet, grind it out. I think it's really fun. Blow everything up, smash everything with your sledgehammers, and you will have fun in the chaos, I'm sure of that. In that sense, see you on the battlefield, and I'll gladly see you in my next video. If you had fun, drop a sub, leave a like. Until then, bye.